Air India's new business class seat is shockingly great, and it exceeded all of my expectation from the moment I stepped into their latest A350 cabin. Now I know they have a terrible reputation all these years, but they are in the middle of a massive transformation, starting with their new business class in the A350s. I took 2 flights with them recently back to back, so I have a first-hand experience with this drastic difference between their older planes and their new business class. And I'll show you both flights today so you get to see this crazy revolution. I started off my journey from Dubai International Airport. This place needs no introduction, but I bet you didn't know that there are at least around 50 to 60 daily flights between India and Dubai, and Air India alone has around 10 daily flights. And if you include the entire South Asia region, there are at least another 60 flights. So just to give you some idea how deeply connected the UAE and South Asia, especially with India. So today I am flying Air India business class from Dubai to Delhi with the Dreamliner, one of the not so fun business class seats in the industry. But I'm gonna have a quick transit in Delhi and then go to London with one of the best business class in the industry, the A350, the one that they got it from Aeroflot, and also being used by Turkish Airlines right now. So I'm very looking forward to that particular business class seat. But I have to endure the next 3 hours first with the not so good business class seat. Let's see how good or how bad, I should say, this business class seat. Not a very long line, but it's taking forever. Not sure what's going on. What a disastrous check-in experience. This business class check-in. So I came in a bit earlier, but they said like you have to come back a little bit later because it's too early, even though I have the boarding passes, but they wouldn't let me go in. That is according to Air India, so that policy should be changed. Alright, let's try check-in one more time. It better work this time. Finally got my boarding passes, took the Sky train which is full of people, and finally made it to Terminal 1 Concourse D where my dedicated lounge is. Passing by the Lufthansa lounge, which I will visit later. SkyTeam lounge, not today. There are 3 non-airline lounges in this area, one for priority pass, one for first class, and one for business class, which I'm in today. This is a contract lounge that many airlines use, such as those from the Star Alliance and One World. It has around 6,000 square feet of space, but it can get crowded really fast. Try to avoid the rush hours between 1 AM and 4 AM when all those South Asian flights are departing. That's when things can get a little crazy. Early mornings or mid-afternoons tend to be much quieter. The food wasn't that bad either, quite a sizable selection, although I find the taste more accustomed to the Middle Eastern taste buds, if you know what I mean. Shortly after noticing a huge influx of other passengers, I tried to get to the Lufthansa lounge we just passed by earlier. Interesting fact I found was that you generally cannot do lounge hopping in Dubai airport nowadays. Even though Air India is a Star Alliance partner, I definitely have the privilege to use this lounge under normal circumstances. But the front desk told me that because I've already checked into the previous lounge with my boarding pass earlier, I couldn't get into another lounge unless the previous lounge would be kind enough to cancel my entry record. So I went back and asked for it. They informed me that usually they would only cancel the record if it was less than 45 minutes, but I have stayed in the lounge for about an hour. They wouldn't normally facilitate that, but they would do me this favor just this one time. And so my record in the previous lounge was successfully cancelled, and I could use this Lufthansa lounge here, which is much quieter. And I also think that the food was marginally better. I also took a peek at the Senator lounge on the other side of this complex, which I technically have no access to, but it was empty. Shower's done. It's time to get to the gates. It's still gonna be an hour away, but let's get there earlier. My first Air India flight today, flying from Dubai to Delhi, will be on the 787 plane, which Air India has 34 of them, forming the majority of their long-haul fleet as of now. The business class cabin has 18 seats, 3 rows of 6, not the best configuration for long-haul flight, but it's only a 3 hours journey, so it's fine, and I'm seated in 3 Alpha today. I think it's fair to say that this seat is not gonna win any prizes, like ever, and it does show some signs of wear and tear, and probably some stain too. But it wasn't so bad that I had to jump off my seat. Now to be fair, my expectation coming in was pretty low, so I wasn't too offended by what I saw, and in fact, I would even say it's not that bad. Well, you can tell me how bad your experience was with this seat in the comment. I would love to hear more. But for me, I thought it was acceptable. It was kept decently clean and tidy. These seats will be phased out eventually anyway, so be patient. I promise that you will love the A350, which I will show you later in this video. I was offered the butterfly pea flower tea. Very interesting drink.
The first sip tastes pretty bad, but it kind of grew on me. I kind of like it now. But yeah, the first sip tastes terrible.
The food and beverage menus were presented very nicely in these cards, and I was pleasantly happy with the selections. And you will see their menu being presented in this manner across the flights nowadays. But take a look at what they offer here. Safety video was played in this pretty outdated IV screen, but that's okay. And food is here, very nicely presented. For a red-eye 3 hours flight, this is perfectly fine with me. Shortly after, the flight landed uneventfully and now headed to the lengthy transit.
So many people require transit. I thought I'm getting that one.
This is my second time transiting in Delhi airport, and both times were not very pleasant. As soon as I left the transit area, it got a little better, but I could definitely smell the air pollution even inside the terminal.
I could see and I could smell the smoke even inside the airport. Oh my god, the air pollution is pretty bad in Delhi.
So I have about an hour to kill. Let's head to the lounge, which by the way is not Air India's own lounge at the moment, as it is undergoing renovation, so TBD for the lounge review in the future. Today we are heading to the Encalm Prive lounge, another contract lounge, but dedicated to business class and mid-tier airline status holders only. This is one of the nicest lounge in Asia, I would say, especially when it is not crowded, such as in the morning right now. It is definitely not the cookie cutter type of lounge, and it has over 10,000 square feet of space. I have a separate video walking through this lounge. I'll post the link somewhere so you can go check it out after. But yeah, this is one of my favorite lounge for sure. Lots of nice Indian food. Just be aware that the lounge can get very busy at certain hours, such as the morning and the evening rush. But outside of these hours, it's an oasis here.
They have like so many different kinds of curry. Get some beautiful toast. I guess it's time to go after my beetroot shots. Alright, let's go to the gate. Very excited today that I am finally going to fly the Aeroflot business class seats. I tried really hard and couldn't hunt down those ones from Turkish Airlines, but thankfully Air India has several of them. So today I finally get to fly one of them, flying to London Heathrow from Delhi Airport. Yeah, I could still smell the smoke inside the terminal. Yeah, it must be terrible if you step outside. Nova line.
Air India's A350 business class cabin has 28 seats in total, 7 rows of 4s in a 1-to-1 layout, and I'm seated in 2 kilo today. You have probably seen these seats before from Turkish Airlines, as they also have a few aircrafts with these Collins Aerospace horizontal seats. Long story short, Aeroflot couldn't take delivery of these planes with these seats for obvious reason, so Turkish Airlines and Air India took them instead. It is incredibly challenging to find these seats with Turkish Airlines, as they are so infamous for their last-minute aircraft switching, so it's almost like playing lottery with them. And I have been dying to try out these seats for a long time now, and just to spoil it for you, this is one of my favorite business class seats now, and I will show you why. Airbus typically doesn't install overhead bins in the middle section to create more space. As a result, the cabin feels much less claustrophobic. Kudos to Airbus. The cabin looks beautiful, isn't it? Everything looking so sharp and sleek. It's honestly such an exciting upgrade for the carrier. I mean, you have seen those previous seats earlier in the video, right? With this configuration, you know what this means. Every single passenger now gets direct aisle access. Finally, no more awkward climbing over your seatmate. The color palette is also absolutely stunning. The mix of dark blue and light grey tones that really keep things modern and fresh. Needless to say, each seat also converts into a fully flat bed and comes with enclosed door, all of which will be shown later. Let's do a quick seat tour here. Starting with the usual things you typically find in modern business class seats, like the 3-point seatbelt system, reading lights, and a seat control panel. But the one thing that got my attention is the storage space here. It is probably the largest one I've seen in this industry. The side table is also massive. Check out the individual closet here. Everybody has one, as the seat was originally designed mainly for Russian passengers, who often bring large winter jackets on board, so this closet really serves a meaningful purpose. We'll do a deeper dive into this 21-inch IFE system later. The footrest area was alright, taller people will be fine here. The tray table can be put out like this, very interesting. And the seats can be converted into a 2 meters long bed.
Can I get a call, please?
A special Ferragamo branded Amenity Kit with its own bag was given to each passenger, with lots of goodies inside. Check it out. Oh, and individual air fans are always welcome. Good job for not cheaping out here. I'll show you more later, but it's time for takeoff. Actually, there's not much to see here, as the city is covered by smoke due to air pollution. What a shame, that's really all you could see. Jammies are also provided. Let's head to the washroom, which looks pretty typical to me, but here's how the jammies look like. Kinda reminds me of Qatar a little.
Love it.
Since this is a 10 hours flight, we're gonna have 2 meals, and I'm having the breakfast now. Check out the food menu in this beautiful card. Lots of options for sure. Now I had quite a bit of food from the lounge and from the previous flight, so not feeling too hungry at the moment, and a simple breakfast here will do it for me. And here is the noise cancellation headphone that comes in this bag. Feels decent and comfy. The in-flight entertainment system is also pretty good, especially with this 21-inch TV screen. I'm a fan of this interface here, by the way, a huge improvement over their old one you saw earlier. Crossing over Pakistan at the moment, and would you look at this beautiful landscape? At this point, I haven't had a proper sleep for over a day now, so I'm very much looking forward to a good sleep. And thankfully, the sleeping condition was excellent. The whole bed just feels so inviting and cozy. In some ways, it feels even roomier than the Q suite, and that's pretty much the queen of business class seats today. So the fact that these seats you see here can be compared to the Q suite really says something. Once you close the door, you really feel like you're closed off from the rest of the cabin. And I'm not a small guy by any means. I feel decently comfortable being 6 foot tall, and the leg rest definitely has the depth for taller people. Together, the bed is 6.5 feet long, which is about 2 meters, so most of you will be fine. Alright, let me just drop the blind and get some rest now. But for those of you who couldn't fall asleep, there is a snack and bar section right behind the business class cabin. There is a drink menu here, and you can have one of the cabin crew to prepare some drinks for you. But if you want to wait, the pre-landing meal is served about 3 hours before landing. Even though this is said to be the pre-landing meal, but it's actually the main meal offered in this flight. It comes in 3 courses, all served one after another and not everything in one tray. The first course is the smoked chicken salad. Also, want to draw your attention to the cutleries. Every one of them is brand new and custom made. Then the main course, I ordered the stuffed chicken. It was pretty tender and delish. Finally comes the dessert, and I got the white chocolate cake. Actually, what draws my attention more was the plate it was served on. I'm definitely noticing all these small details here. Oops, and be careful not to elbow the seat adjustment buttons here, which I did accidentally touch on multiple times during the flight. After the meal, I conveniently grabbed my clothes from the closet here and changed out of my jammies into them. Then I headed back to my seat and reflect on my flight experience. So hear me out. I'm very well aware of Air India's reputation and quality standard for all these years. I have been in this industry for a while now, and this was the airline that, just like many people out there, would try to avoid. But that is changing now, literally before my very own eyes. Ever since Air India's parent company, the Tata Group, reacquired the airline and merging it with Vistara into one single airline, Air India has been making improvements one area at a time. Starting with acquiring the A350 planes and putting the best crew from these 2 airlines into these flagship A350 routes. Today, having flown in both their older and their new business class seats back to back allows me to witness the stark difference between their A350 business class and the rest of their fleet. Both the hard and soft products of this flight, as well as the customer service, were top-tier quality. I don't say this lightly, as I fly on Qatar and Singapore Airline all the time. But if this A350 experience is what Air India has installed for the future across their entire network, then I am very confident that this airline will be a force to be reckoned with. Standing beside other great airlines such as the Middle Eastern 3 and also the other Asian giants. Yes, Air India still has a lot of flaws outside of this flight, tons of them to be frank, such as the mess in the ground experiences and the rest of their fleet. But don't forget that this is a huge airline in the most populous country in the world. You gotta give them time. On the other hand, some other YouTubers have pointed out that their change is not fast enough. I sort of agree, but making changes at the beginning is usually the slowest. Changes can be made faster once they are set in motion. From my experience in this flight, I've witnessed their willingness to make drastic changes, even down to the smallest detail. It is evident to me that they do care. With more A350s and the 777X coming into their fleet and a huge modernization plan in place, I can't wait to see what the future holds for this airline.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye. That was such an amazing business class experience from Air India. Who knew I would say such thing about Air India? Just amazing. The A350 business class. One word.